Okay, smart homes. Do they make money? Do they not make money? Do they lose money? We're going to talk about smart homes when selling, when renting properties. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up. Good morning.
I'm going to try not to sound sexist in this topic.
That shouldn't be too hard for you, Mark.
Nah, shouldn't be too hard. How are you this morning? Good.
I'm good, thank you. Very good, thanks.
Now, this is your topic, not my super nerd topic. This is something I'd like to talk about every day.
Look, I knew you'd be able to talk a lot more about it. I was kind of thinking about it, how it compares to the rental market compared to the sales market, and just some cool gadgets that I've come across even in my old age that I thought were pretty cool. That obviously the show The Block has sparked in my thought process. So, yeah, thought we'd talk about it. You introduced the topic.
Yeah, so it's I don't know what you mean by old age, what you just said, but anyway, um there's plenty of stuff out there, and you can invest and you can spend and you can have fun, and it often, I always laugh about the I remember the analytics on dishwashers. The if you run a budget on a dishwasher, how much it costs to buy the dishwasher. I know this is not a smart home thing, but it's the concept I want everyone to get their head around, that the sheer fact of what it costs to buy a dishwasher, to run a dishwasher, the hours you have to work at work to buy the dishwasher. I remember it was just plain fact that it was better off just doing your dishes.
Well, just like you said, doing analytics, all our appliances, there's, energy saving appliances now. We're mindful of energy and having all these apps that can track your energy, not just solar power on your roof and things like that, but even like you said, your dishwasher, your washing machine, your fridge, you know, um, I'm a big fan of washing your dishes, to be fair. I take out the sponge brine. My husband always goes, the dishwasher's there. Why are you hand washing? Because I don't want to unpack it. I don't want to unpack it from the night before. So I hand wash the three things in the sink and then I leave it for someone else.
Don't want to leave it on because it may be dangerous going to bed with it on. I know Lisa says that to me. I think one of her family members that caught on fire and burnt their kitchen. Like, man, just leave it on. What can go wrong? But there's plenty of good stuff out there. There's turning lamps on and off routinely, because if you add that up over the course of a year, one lamp can be 700 times that you're turning it on and it off. If you've got five lamps at home or three lamps at home, add that up times seven times 700. That's 5,000 actions that you're doing. People are embedding PowerPoints with smart devices, chargers, smart things there. The air conditioning's turning on can be efficient because air cons, if it's a hot room and you're trying to make the room 21.5 degrees, it's much cheaper to turn the room on at 6 in the morning and run that room at 21.5 throughout the day. So maintaining a temperature is easier than to getting it from a high temperature to a normal temperature. So there's lots of smart devices out there. Um, I think the question for us in real estate is I think we often convince ourselves that this item that we're buying is enhancing the value of the home, and the question is it? Is it a given? Is it a necessity? Is it a must-have? I'm going to pay more. Solar, air cons, dishwashers, all this stuff is there's a lot of stuff that's connecting into your Wi-Fi these days.
Yeah, look, I think having that added security for tenants, with a lot of these smart properties would make, I would feel, um, the home more expensive, but you also have your own peace of mind for a landlord. How far you could actually go, like you said, with gadgets alone, you could go anywhere. Like the George Jetson house, we could all have that. You probably live in the George Jetson house. You probably have the Tesla robot making your breakfast in the morning. Um,
Can't wait for.
but the whole concept for, I guess what sparked this, I have a property where the owner years ago put in one of those smart door locks where you don't need a key. You just need to put your thumbprint or, a code, and there's no keys required. Um, that alone, as a technology, he had the foresight years ago to do that. And all he has to do is change the code in between tenancies. He's not cutting keys all the time. The tenants feel secure that are coming in, that someone else doesn't have a key. Um, so that in itself, I guess, I think adds value. As property managers, we hate keys. Is this the way of the future? Even the lockbox. How good was the lockbox when that came out? Tradies can come and go.
Yeah, and
Just
for people that don't know what the lockbox is, it's got your digits on the front. It can be mechanical or battery. You lock in a physical key into the box, and you put it on a steel fence or you put it on a steel bar, and it lives there. So as agents, if we're constantly going to a property, tradies, agents, owners, you put a lockbox there, and it's just a winner. What would be for yourself the things that you would say, I'm going to put this smart product in my home? This is going to make money when I rent it or sell it, or one or the other.
I saw this cool new device that detects leaks. So it's like a pad. It goes in your laundry. It can go under your sink, and it's all connected to your phone. So if the water pressure in the property increases or they detect water, it'll alert you. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So if your tenants are on holidays and you get a burst flexi pipe, you don't live in the property, this device is going to tell you, you need to be there. I thought that would be something that would be, really worthwhile for a lot of our landlords. Um, some of them range from $40 and they go up to 300. And I guess it might be new technology, but it's out there. I've not heard of it before. So having these leak detection items in your home as an investor, especially if your property's renowned for leaks or flooding,
Yep.
um, you could put something like that in, have it on your phone, just as a safeguard. And then that way you're in front of the issue rather than being reactive and dealing with wet carpet and all that sort of stuff.
And I think there's a I think that the bigger element to smart devices is labor saving. Um, and is it labor that a buyer's going to come through or a renter's going to come through and say, "Oh, that's going to save my time. I will pay more." No. If you need it and you have it, it is amazing. So I bought when I was at Costco. I bought, so I know this is smart technology, but I bought these little lights and I threw them in cupboards that were dark, and they have sensors on them and they last 6 months. And I'm like, how good is this? Whenever you're opening like a kitchen sink cupboard, which I always open, it's all lit up underneath. Or when you're going to go grab your shoes, it'll be dark in there. It's all lit up. Is a buyer going to pay more for that? No, the answer is no. Is a tenant going to pay more than that? The answer is no. Is it worth someone paying for that? Absolutely. The amount of time and convenience that sort of stuff can save someone, when you're moving quickly through a home and doing stuff repetitively all the time. I think, and when I say labor clothes, it's like that lamp idea that we're talking about before. There's literally thousands of actions that you're replicating over a year, thousands. And if you can, labor save on those items, that is a shit ton of money that you're saving. I am all up for it. But I think in all, I've gone from the A to Z with automation.
You could write a book on automation. It's and it's
Um,
something new to learn in the house, I guess, when you've got all those gadgets.
that's the thing. Like I've put, automated stereos in that nobody can use. I've put cheap stereos in that everyone can use the cheap stereo one. I've put the house that's I've programmed our last house. Spent a fortune on it, got it just right after a period of probably 3 to 6 months, and we sold the house. And then the person that bought it wanted it all ripped out.
Totally. It must have been a Gen Xer going, this is crazy. I don't want the lights on at this time. But what about those
Yeah,
cameras,
it was
the
one
new,
of the
the O-ring?
stunning.
I mean,
What
so
we've got
cheap
one
and so
we've got one on the front
effective.
door. What about the one in the office?
Yeah,
So
like
we've we
as a
we've Yeah, Apple makes these little cameras where it just buzzes. It's an app. It's not. It sells with Apple. It's not an Apple product, but it sells at the Apple store. And people walk into our reception. The receptionist gets a notification, goes down and says "G'day." So it's quite clever. It's very very efficient when you compound those things over a day, over a week, over a year. But be careful if you're putting this stuff in rentals. I believe what you spoke about with locks is every lock in Australia. I think every lock in Australia over the next 10, maybe it's longer years, is going to be an automated one. Whereas instead of remembering to grab your keys, you just have to remember to change the battery in the lock every 6 months.
Yeah, that's right. And it's your thumb always or whatever. And the swipes are always, as fail safe as well with those automated locks. We took a tenant to NCAT because she lost two of the swipes. It cost $180 to have them reprogrammed for those automated locks. But then you get 5 cards. So, one security key costs $150 through Strata. So if you look at it, you get 5 cards reprogrammed. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot you could look into, like you just said. Our office has a lot of these devices that are saving, labor saving, but for rentals, we're not there yet.
Not there yet. Thank you very much for the automation property update today.
Have a great day. See you, everyone.
Have a great day. Thanks, Claire. See ya.